In today's episode of the vlog, I talk about how I got into real estate. How was your night? I'm talking to him, sorry. Yeah? It was good. He didn't perform as much. He was more doing like a Def Comedy Jam kind of thing. He had, no, not a million. He had, shit. There was this comedian that opened, really wasn't good. Then Martin came on, you know, just did the Def Comedy Jam, speak for like 10 minutes, introduce the first comedian, speak for another 2 minutes, introduce the next comedian, speak for another 2 minutes, and then say goodbye. I was like, fuck, like I wanted to see you, not like, but Michael Blackson was there.
Oh, okay.
That motherfucker's hilarious. He's crazy. He's crazy. I don't think that that's his real voice though.
Yeah, that's what Kevin Hart was saying that day. He fixed that African voice since forever.
That's okay, ain't nothing wrong with that, but like you could hear him talking at different points and you'd be like, we don't believe you. You need more people. But funny as well, fuck, dude. So I have no idea what the fuck today is gonna become from a vlog standpoint because I don't want to do the same shit we typically do with showing apartments because there's not many. I mean, there's two that we haven't shown before because I'm gonna go do something for Brian, and then we end in at Parkside, so we haven't really filmed that. But come on. Yeah. So.
And then in between, we're gonna go to the office. You said?
Yeah. So we have just left that one. Next, we're going to the building that's like 10 blocks this way. Then we're going to Long Island City, to do 2 open houses like at the same time for Brian. They're across the street from each other. Then we're gonna head to the office. Then we're heading to Elizabeth Street, and then from Elizabeth Street we're going to Parkside.
Got it.
And then, depending on how I feel, I'm probably going to go stop at Colorworks later and pick my shit up.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah, now I just have to hire some kids to fucking hand out all those flyers. Another day vlogging. About 9 years ago, I was working at Circuit City. Actually, it's a little bit. Let's start over.
3, 2, 1.
Almost 9 years ago, I got into real estate in a very interesting kind of way. So I was working at Circuit City when they went out of business and I lost my job. So I took a time off. I went to Africa and sat on my couch for a month and watched Family Park in South Guy. Family Park. That'd be a good show, Family Park. Surprised nobody's made like a spoof. What time is it? Yo, let's walk to 37 to get something to fucking find a bodega or something. Hello, Mike speaking. How you doing? I was there already this morning. No, I'm booked solid all day. My last open house ends at 7 o'clock. No. That's when my last open house ends today. There's no way I can show it today. Probably like beginning of the week. Yeah, the best thing to do is send me an email. All right, bye-bye. You're putting roadblocks in front of yourself for no good reason, period. You're putting roadblocks in front of yourself for no good reason, period. Yo, honestly, like, I don't know how Gary Vee does this. Like, his phone has to blow up at like 150 times the rate that mine does.
Yeah.
Right? So listen, this is Saturday, right? You know that means that I'm gonna be all over the city, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, just doing open houses. That's not what I wanna show you today. When I started in this business almost 9 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. I gotta piece this story together better. It's not working right now. I think I just need to tell this in fucking entirety in one shot. I know, I just gotta piss right now. I don't have it in me. I gotta get this urine out of me. Hustler, I'm a hustler. Dude, she's constantly running all fucking day. One place to another. Come on. I just don't have the patience today that's necessary. Now I'm gonna sit the fucking night. So about 9 years ago, I was a manager at Circuit City when they went out of business. So obviously I lost my job. I took some time off. I went to Africa, sat on my couch and watched Family Guy in South Park for about a month and decided I was absolutely done with corporate America. Now my pops had been in real estate at that point for almost 15 years and he had just been in the city with Citi Habitats for a year. He had done the first like 14, 15 before that in Queens. And he always used to tell me, you know, Mike, come try this, you'll love it, you'll make a lot of money. But I was doing very well at Circuit. And I was like, no, I think I'm good. I don't need to go to a 100% commission job when I'm doing very well as a 20-something-year-old. And as much as I hate to admit this, I probably should have listened to him years before. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. Let me try real estate. And that was now almost 9 years ago. So a little over 2.5 years ago, I had a conversation with my dad. And I was like, yo, listen, you're getting old. And what you're doing is really limited to like the business that you get that's 100% referral based. I need you to let me take over, let me run the ship how I want to run the ship with no questions whatsoever. And because we've always had an absolutely amazing relationship, my father, without a blinking an eye, said okay. So I took over the team. I started hiring people that fit a mold that I was looking to create. I realized that there was a huge gap in the market in the way teams are structured. Most teams are structured where there's team members are there to serve the needs of the team leader. And I realized that the skills that I had built over the last 6 years, 6.5 years at that point, would really help me help other people. So I decided to structure my team differently. I decided that it made sense more so to build a family than a team. And I was ultimately looking for agents that have been in the business a year to 3 years because I believed that I could scale their next 5 years of growth into about 24 months. Now, here's what I can tell you. For the time that I've been doing this, I've seen the agents that have been with me since the beginning significantly change their business. For example, I have 2 agents that when they joined me, 95% of their business was on the tenant side. That means that they were taking out renters and renting apartments. Now, 95% of their business is on the listing side, meaning they're the ones with the listings. Because my focus is on teaching my agents how all to just be listing agents. Because at the end of the day, if you list, you last, and really it's a guaranteed way to always get paid. So I'm building this team, and I'm realizing that a lot of the things that I had in my head are now actually happening. But I realized if I really wanted to significantly grow, I needed to start doing absolutely different shit. And at the time, I was in a very interesting position and reading a lot and consuming a lot and came across a dude by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk. Some of you know him as Gary V. And he was one of the linchpins that pushed me in the direction to start creating content. Because I realized that very few brokers, for whatever reason, in the real estate business, brokers hold information so close to the chest that I don't get it. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. But that's what they do. So I realized there was an opportunity to create a resource where I could share information at a level that nobody else was. So about 4 months ago, I made another shift. Because I began to realize that not everybody cared about real estate. And I realized there was other things that I could talk about that I come from a point of authority and can really help people. Because I realized the lessons that I was teaching my agents were applicable across pretty much every business. And New York City is one of the, if not the, most traveled international destination year after year after year. So I shifted to telling the story of New York and using the business lessons that I teach my agents to teach other people. And I also realized that in the process of growing a multi-million-dollar business, I'm now actively showing people what that looks like every day. Whether it's the videos I put out, whether it's Snapchat, whether it's Instagram, whatever it may be, I'm showing the blood, sweat, and tears, because I can tell you every day, and Brandy can attest to this, I'm getting 7 to 20 DMs from people like, yo, do you ever stop working? Oh, I appreciate your hustle, like, you motivate me. And if you watch, on the first day Brandy was actually shooting content with me, we interviewed my friend Henry, who has a home installation company, and he said the exact same thing. So that was the shift, and what I noticed almost immediately upon that shift is the attention I was getting was starting to increase. And then I got sick of editing fucking videos. And I was like, you know what? I can't do this shit anymore. It's not worth my time. I could be doing better things with my time. And decided to bite the bullet and make the biggest investment in my business that I had to that point, and hired Brandy full time. I gotta tell you, the response over the last 2 months and change has been absolutely phenomenal. And I know that this is just the beginning. I know I'm ahead of the market.
There's a gas station up on the left.
Thank you. That's fucking ridiculous, $2.89, but I have no fucking choice at this point. Oh, does it come with like a massage?
Something.
Right? Do I get like a candy bar or something? Bottle of water? All right, I'm gonna go put gas in the car while I think about life. So about 1.5 years ago, I made a decision to be me all the time. And I gotta tell you, this is something I struggled with, because I wasn't sure how the market would perceive someone who's totally different. You can see, like, this is my everyday attire. Actually, I may be a little more dressed today than I am some other days. But what I realized is authenticity is the most undervalued asset right now. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And because I talk about it and because I'm doing what I'm doing, I think I'm actually leading the effort to see that change. And I'm not here doing this to pat myself on the back. I'm doing this to open the fucking door so you can decide, you know what? I could be me. Because guess what? Nobody else can. So my first rental deal was a very small apartment in the West Village. At that point, I had been in the business like 5 or 6 weeks and had not closed my first deal. And you know, at the beginning, it's rough. It's frustrating. It's difficult. Like, you question whether or not this is right. And it was a dude who, I can't say what he did for a living, but went to take a look at the apartment, and it was in a building that's actually a 7th floor walk-up. There's only a few of them on Thompson, and probably a couple of the locations that were built at a period pre-elevator. And I believe his apartment was on the 5th or 6th floor. And it was a very smooth transaction, like comparative to transactions now. So I grew up in Queens. My parents still live in the same house that I grew up in. And when I went to high school, at that point, there were 3 specialized high schools in New York City. There was Stuyvesant, Bronx Science, and Brooklyn Tech. And you took a test, and based on the score you got on the test, depended on which school you got into. Now at that point, the secondary school system was a little bit different than today. You had elementary schools, which generally went from like kindergarten to 5th grade, or 6th grade. And then you had junior high schools, which were 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. So in 8th grade, at the end of 8th grade, I took the test and I got into Brooklyn Tech, but I didn't want to go. I wanted to graduate junior high school with my friends. And I took the test. I had to then take the test again the following year, and I got into Tech again. And I went to Brooklyn Tech. And Brooklyn Tech is in Fort Greene. And Fort Greene, Brooklyn, from 1996 to 1999 was a significantly different place than Fort Greene is today. I remember seeing kids get slashed, robbed, beat, all in the block walk to the subway train. Now, New York was also a different place at that time. So, yeah, I'm right here. This is not good content.
No, that story was good.
I don't have it in me today. That car accident fucked me up. I can't tell you how many times a day I get DMs from people wanting to know if they should or shouldn't do things. And 99 times out of 100, they already have the answer. They just don't want to own up to the responsibility of actually going out and executing upon it. So, me being me, I will frankly tell people, the fuck. And it's funny how, like, they're appreciative for it. They take a moment and they're like, thank you, I needed to hear that. Motherfucker, just go do shit. That's not gonna work.
Just the ending part.
Motherfucker, just go do shit. Stop talking. Yo, it drives me nuts. It really, and I'm trying to get out of that mindset of like things driving me nuts or people driving me nuts and not liking things. Like, I feel like that's my next upgrade personally, right? But it drives me nuts when I hear indecisiveness.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you're not decisive, why is somebody else going to be decisive for you? It doesn't add up. People don't have the same goals. People don't have the same vision. People don't have the same skill sets. People haven't lived the same life that you have. So why you need to get answers from other people is really something that you should look within yourself and question as to why you operate as such. So it's a little after 8 o'clock right now, and while showings may be done, I still have about another hour and change of work to do once I get home. And my day will ultimately wrap somewhere in the 10:30 arena. And I left the house this morning at about 8:30. 12 to 16 hour days have become my standard. And while I am tired, like, this is a different level of exhaustion. It's not something that I'm complaining about. It's not something that I get upset about. Like, I go home after one of these long days and I'm actually pumped. Like, especially if it was a good day. Like, I'm not extremely happy today because somebody hit my fucking car and was a dick about it and wasted my fucking time. But other than that, like, we had a very productive day. So over here, you have one bedroom. You can fit a queen size bed right here very easily. You probably could fit a king. It would take up a lot more of the room. And you can't really see it right now, but you have an amazing view, I don't know if I can zoom in, of Manhattan from here. Now, one thing is, this is the subway station. So this is the platform of the 7 train. Are you familiar with the subway system at all in New York?
Oh, no, I'm not.
Okay, so there's an elevated part to the subway system. It's not all underground, right? And this is right next to the apartment. Now, in order to abate noise, you'll notice you see these screws. This is actually the 3rd pane of window glass. So I'm gonna wait to see if there's a subway that's gonna pull in so you can hear the noise. But it's actually quite quiet. Now, if you're standing at the window and like you're putting your ear and actively listening for noise, yeah, you maybe hear something, but you know, it's New York. You're always gonna hear something somewhere, right? And I don't see one coming yet, so we're gonna come out here. Every apartment has its own private outdoor space. They also have light and electricity. So if you wanted to sit out with a laptop or radio, you absolutely can. And you can kind of see Manhattan in like the back where that plane just flew across. This is the building. This is the block that you're on. A nice deli across the street. And you can see a lot of it is 1, 2, and 3 family houses.
Right.
You can go on Google Street View, obviously, and get a better perception of what, more daytime. If you walk to the corner, walk around, walk down the block, next thing you know, you're on Broadway, and then the hospital is like 4.5 blocks that way.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right. And I can just text or call you if I have
Yeah. Just text, call, whatever it is, let me know. Text or email is usually best.
All right, sounds good.
All right?
Thank you.
No problem. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
What do we say here?
Just
What we did?
Yeah.
We got into a car accident. What else did we do?
Did the 5 open houses.
We got into a car accident. What else did we do? We got into a car accident.
You did the FaceTime.
Jesus. But we did get into a car accident today. Because somebody decided that following the rules of the law, the rules of the road, this is horrible content. It's fucking horrible. Like, I can't speak straight today. Yo, that shit really fucked me up. Like, really fucked me up. We had 5 open houses today all over New York. We went from Queens to Manhattan to Brooklyn in typical fashion. Tried to show you something a little different, tell you a little different story today, because I don't want to bore you with the same shit over and over. Let me know what you want to see me talk about, because I can tell you this. The story today came from a comment from one of you. Peace. I'm a hustler, I'm a hustler, I'm a hustler, I'm a hustler, I'm a hustler.